Back, I would like to come out of executive session at 5:54. 5:54. Wait, take the roll, please. Bill?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Boynton?
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy?
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Stevens?
Aye. Okay, we are out of executive session at 5:55. Regular session.
Yep.
Oh. Hmm?
You have 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You will try to wait 9 minutes.
Oh, so it is. Okay.
You good? Once again, I would like to welcome everyone to our regular board meeting for July 23rd, 2020. Welcome once again to our community residents and those who are listening in. We had we did a part of our agenda by going into executive session first that we had to go through, and now we're back in our regular general session. So once again, thank you for chiming in with us. So at this time, Dr. Sokol, do we have any awards, presentations, or any other additional things at all you want to acknowledge? Okay. Do we have any audience participation? Not at this time. So, okay. So now we're going to go down to our consent agenda, item number 5.01. And board, you had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. And if there's no changes or anything that you have noticed, I would have heard them by now if there were. So at this time, can I get a motion to approve agenda item 5.01, the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Patterson, second by Ms. Boynton. Questions, comments?
I just have a,
Go right ahead.
Dr. Johnson, we will not see those agreements anymore since we're approving them now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Okay, please call the roll.
Mrs. Patterson,
Aye.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy. Aye. Mr. Stevens.
Aye. Motion passed 4-0. Thank you, board. Okay. Item number 6.01. 6.01. Superintendent's recommendation as presented by the business manager. Dr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. As you know, Mr. Graybeck is not here this evening, so I am going to present his one item, which is 6.01, the second addendum to the agreement of the purchase and sale of Oakwood. So again, they're asking to extend the due diligence, and this is just a formality, and we're asking for your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can we get a motion to approve agenda item 6.01, the second addendum to agreement of purchase of sales?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Patterson,
Second.
second by Ms. Boynton. Questions or comments? None, please call the roll.
Mrs. Patterson,
Aye.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy. Aye. Mr. Stevens.
Aye. Motion passed 4-0. Thank you, board. Okay, going to our superintendent's report. Dr. Selico.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Just two quick items. Well, one's quick. I don't know how quick the other one is, but the first one is as a reminder tonight when you go home this evening, if you could remember to click your porch light on at 8 o'clock for the 8 minutes and 46 seconds that we had discussed, that we had seen, and we put out a video, and Mr. Stevens, as a member of the board, represented us in that, and we put that out to the communities, the various communities, and all over social media. So we're hoping people tonight, if you're listening, to please put your porch lights on at 8 o'clock. Secondly, board, I have been in conversations with Mr. Stevens about what has transpired as it relates to the reopening of our schools in the fall. And we've had lengthy discussions, both internally and with Mr. Stevens. And he had discussed the desire to, he would like to have a special work session next week. And I think that'd be a good idea. And I think in addition to that, just wanted to point out that I provided you with a document that has a number of updates, just to see where we are and where we've transpired, what's transpired and what's developed since the last time. There's a health guide given to us by the Ohio Department of Health, that they put that out, as well as ODE in conjunction with them. And then I also provided you with a Northeast Ohio learning plan, opening plan that it's in collaboration with all of the superintendents in Northeast Ohio. They put together some guidelines should the buildings reopen, and then also some data as it relates to the number of cases by county, but also by zip code. So you'll see where our district falls, and if you have other areas in which you're interested, it does show you what's happening in our area. So with that, again, as I mentioned, Mr. Stevens has the desire and a good idea to have a work session next week. So Mr. Stevens, I don't know if you want to add anything?
Well, I had spoke with, I sent emails and text to board members stating that, we, due to some additional information that was shared with me based on from the time that we had our last board meeting and how things have changed since then, even then. And I felt that it was necessary for us to, as a board, to hear Dr. Selico out and what she would like to recommend to the board, additional from what we approved 2 weeks ago, and to take a look at it. So I felt that was necessary, and with your approval, support, I thought it was necessary to do that.
I have a question. What have we done about the air quality in all the buildings?
And nothing that I'm aware of right now. I mean,
Okay.
yes, no, we have not done.
Okay, because they're saying that, the air quality in all the buildings need to be upgraded.
Yeah, we're hearing that a lot. I've been hearing that a lot about surrounding districts as we're talking. And, again, another plea for new schools. Because you're right. These are old systems. Right.
Any additional?
So just so along with that, Mr. Johnson.
I think so. Just so you're aware, in one of our meetings just the other day in regards to the air quality, that question came up to Mr. Summers, and he did share kind of in alignment to what you're talking about in terms of the age of our buildings. I know some districts are doing some things to upgrade the air quality, but he said our buildings could not even handle bringing any outside units or doing the upgrades that would be required at this time based upon the status of our buildings right now.
Okay, thank you. Anything else want to discuss? And like I said, board, we have a set time next week for the special meeting that we're going to have to listen to Dr. Selico's and her team recommendation and proposal to us, the additional recommendation proposal at 5 o'clock on Thursday next week. So that's where we are. Will we have it here?
If we want to carry on the same format where we certainly could, we would add some chairs.
Or what you think? You want to continue to have it here?
I do.
I think for setup purposes, I know it took the gentleman a half a day to set it up, so
Mhm.
he'd probably appreciate it if we did stay here.
Okay. Yeah,
Stress James out a little bit.
because it looks like we, it took him longer to set up than the meeting started.
That is a true story.
So we appreciate you doing this. Thank you very much. Thank you. And James, thanks for setting things up here to accommodate us as well.
I have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
question for Dr. Selico. Dr. Selico, will this new proposal be detailed as far as if we're deviating from what we have already approved? I would love to see detail of the day operation, what's going to be happening.
Yes.
And even this, if we have to even discuss more about the staffing and what it's going to look like and where that will take place.
Yes, and I can appreciate that. As soon as I hung up with Mr. Stevens, we had an emergency. I had a mandatory meeting this morning at 8:30 with my team, as well as we had already had scheduled a return to school committee meeting. We were on for 2 hours. I got off after 2 hours. I think it went beyond the 2 hours. I had another meeting and have been talking about all sorts of details. So the good news is we didn't really start from scratch because we've been planning for 3 different plans. So we had a starting point, but now we're getting to the nitty gritty. I've shared all the questions that I've received through Mr. Stevens. He was kind enough to share with us what direction the board, what questions you want answered. And please, if things come up between now and then, just shoot me an email and we'll make sure we address them that evening, because we don't want to be, come unprepared with questions that would help you make a decision. So,
Because during the initial presentation of the reopening, of course, it was Plan B that was, of course, emphasized. The other two was just mentioned with no detail. So as we were looking at it, that's what we assumed, that's what you, of course, that was the preference of you and the cabinet, of course. And so now, if we're going to look at something else, I want it to be just as detailed, especially with staffing, especially with staffing.
Dr. Johnson, did you hear that?
Thank you. All right.
My question
Thank you.
is, are you finished? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Have you decided, or have the teachers decided, you said you had two plans to use for virtual for the program. So have they decided on a plan?
So there were two things happening. If a parent opted, as the survey went out the other night, or last night, if they opted for all virtual, that would be a platform. If we were to open it with the hybrid model, if we were to open virtually with just all students and all teachers, we most likely will not have a platform. We will have teachers teaching, but there will be supplements in there, such as iReady and some others that we use, some computer programs. But we wouldn't rely on just one platform. Whereas if a child just goes 100% virtual and they're with the hybrid model, so I choose to just be virtual, that would be more of an online platform with just minimal interaction with the teacher, because you'll be learning online. Now, if we go full virtual, it'll be the reverse. You'll have a little bit of off time from the teacher, more face time with the teacher.
And board, if you have any additional questions other than getting into the weeds right now, because there are some things that still need to be discussed, shoot either those questions, because some of you have talked with me already regarding that, what you would like to see, and I have shot those questions to Dr. Selico. Now, if there's any additional things that you may want to discuss or that's in your mind between now and then, I would like for you, if possible, to either shoot those to Dr. Selico or to me, and I'll make sure she get them based on your thoughts between that time period. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, now we're going to close and adjourn. So at this time, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Kennedy and second by Ms. Patterson to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Mr. Kennedy? Aye. Mrs. Patterson?
Aye.
Ms. Boynton?
Aye.
Mr. Stevens?
Aye. Okay, we're adjourning at 6:13. Thank you, and thank you for tuning in, community residents and staff. Thank you.